wisdom in the prologue, which I think that's dealing with wisdom in the prologue for me has been a world-changing event as far as real. One is it's humbled me that I didn't know as much as I thought I did, but then two, to see, as you said, this continuation of Jewish thought and their expression of these things was just, it was amazing. And one thing you said in page 121, that John 1 through 18 reimagines the Jewish wisdom hymn rather than inventing a new logos theology. And what internal literary signals convince you that John's prologue is a wisdom hymn rather than a late logos interpretation?
Yeah, so when we look at the things that are said about the logos, I do think the logos functions as the subject throughout the prologue. And even when the word becomes flesh, I do think that the word doesn't cease to be when the word becomes flesh. Jesus continues to embody the word, and even in the Gospel of John, he continues to function as the embodiment of God's creative speech, and he's speaking God's commands and speaking God's words, and he's able to do that because he continues the ministry that the word was doing in the beginning, as we can see, like in John 1:4, and of course in the Old Testament passages. So what I found are basically 20 different things said in the prologue and over the course of 18 verses that have very clear parallels with God's wisdom in Jewish literature, to where if you were familiar with those things, you would have read the prologue and you would have said, okay, I see what's going on here. Basically, all of these things that were said about God's word could be said about God's wisdom. And it's not that actually makes it sound like it's much more of a leap that, okay, we got things said about God's wisdom and now they're being said about God's word, and we have to kind of like jump between those two.